are now tuned in to the Lineman Lounge, the world's thickest sports podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Evo.
Come on, están, bitches. This is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. That is Evo. It is a Tuesday night. We are coming to you, and we have got a shitload of football to talk about. We have had a ton of preseason games. Rookie quarterbacks have been in action, but we have all sorts of other things that are happening in the No Sleeves Network realm. But before we start diving into that, let me bring in my man, Evo. How you doing, big dog? How you been?
Doing good. Just super tired, brother. You know, you leave the military, but you don't win. And that's why I'm still doing these early mornings, getting up at oh shit 100, man. Fucking lots of early mornings, and I know picking up the slack for our green suits while they're off doing their little TDY excursions. So I am tired, and I'm looking forward to a little afternoon nap after we're done here. But everything's good, and looking forward to being out in your neck of the woods this coming weekend.
Yeah, this weekend you're going to be out here. I'm very excited for that, man. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but gosh, the things that are happening for this show, for our brand, the No Sleeves Network, are continuing to grow, and I am so thankful for everybody that has kind of started to rock with us, even and especially if you've been here from the beginning. This weekend was huge. Made it out to Jersey City. Jersey, actually not a terrible place. Way too close to other people, but not a bad place. Out there for the Brightside Film Festival, where I did kind of win something. Your boy got second place for the best concept for all the college movies that were there. There was 12 college movies, so not bad. Second place. Want to do better next time, but
first movie, you got to be happy with it, man.
I am happy with it, man. And I really want to give a shout out to some of the people out there. CJ and Chris, the guys that kind of put on the Brightside Film Festival out there at the Brightside Tavern in Jersey City, New Jersey. Man, they were awesome. Everybody was so hospitable. Another shout out. Blaze Colvin, kid that I met, recent graduate of, I believe it was Seton Hall University, had a movie, Father Time. Very good. Ended up, I believe, winning Best Editing, which Blaze was very pumped about. I wanted to give him a shout out for all that. Thank you. I was going for a little bit of a twist, kind of confused the people, switch it up. I'm glad it worked. But man, it was awesome. I enjoyed my time. I can't wait to make another movie, but I can wait to make another movie because it is a slog, dude. It is a process. I learned a lot of things in this. Some things that I'm not good at, some things that I am good at. I will never probably direct another movie again. I will write, I will produce, I will do all of that stuff, but I hate the directing portion because I just don't have an eye for it. But man, great experience. Thanks to everybody out there at the Brightside Film Festival.
Very cool, man. Yeah, look, again, it's your first movie you've made. To be in a film festival and everything, that's pretty fucking cool. Absolute round of applause for you. So good job. Keep doing the good work.
Thank you, brother. But we're not done. We have more things that are coming up. Like we said, you're coming out here this week. We're going to come down all the way to Columbus and pick you up. But earlier that day, I'm going to pick up our boy, the Vanilla Gorilla, at the Cleveland airport. He's flying in. We're going to have me, you, Vanilla Gorilla, producer Amber, and our ginger Byron all go out for a really cool cause. And to talk about this cause, we're going to actually bring in the guy who knows way more about it than we do. Let's bring in Robert Schwank Jr., the Irreverent Warrior, Cleveland local coordinator. Robert, welcome in. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing really well, man. I'm doing really well. We're very glad to be joined by you today because we're going to have an opportunity to do some stuff with you guys this weekend at the Irreverent Warrior March in Cleveland. So why don't you tell all of our watchers what the Irreverent Warrior March is?
So Irreverent Warriors is we bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. The gentleman who created this started back in 2015, Donnie O'Malley. he had a few of his good friends from the Marines who had committed suicide in a short period of time. So he started doing some research to figure out, what's going on, what can he do to help, and he found out there aren't really many organizations out there that just bring us together and focus on, the camaraderie of the service, that sense of being part of something, of being part of a unit that that is there to support and watch each other's back. So in 2015, July 2015, he had the first hike in San Diego, and it has just expanded from there to where now we have over 150 hikes in cities across the country, as well as Aconis hikes in places like Trieste, Italy, Normandy, France, the UK, Guam, Puerto Rico. We're all over trying to bring veterans back together in a way to prevent suicide. We're not about awareness. We are out here preventing it by bringing us back together with that camaraderie. It's pretty amazing and powerful thing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought it up because I misspoke at on our last episode. It's not about awareness; it's about prevention. We don't necessarily need people to know that the problem's happening. We want to stop this problem. We want to save our brothers and sisters in arms and make sure that everybody goes home to their families every night. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, and I apologize for misportraying that last week. But this is an organization that we are so excited to be aligned with. We want to also build a community among veterans, veteran content creators. So I'm so excited to be a part of this and kind of take in my first march as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to have you. It's going to be an amazing experience. The hike element itself is active veteran guard reserve only. Because it gives us that space to where that dark humor comes out, and the things that we don't talk about with our civilian counterparts start to open up those conversations and let those traumas out that we all tend to hold in, that eat away at us. So it gives us that space to just let some of that stuff free around like-minded individuals that have had similar traumas, and it's healing, it's refreshing, it's amazing.
Yeah, I hate kind of the term safe space, but it's something that I think that we need as a community, and it's good that we're able to have that kind of an outlet where we know that we're around other people that understand what you've gone through, and we can rationalize and understand what they've gone through as well. So it's an awesome thing that we're going to be getting to be a part of. I'm really looking forward to being out there in Cleveland and joining everyone on this march.
Yeah, it's just exciting. It's fun. It's humorous. It's rain or shine. We have a little bit of fun dancing in the rain if it gets wet. It allows you to take off this mask that you carry for the civilian world and just be free to be yourself. And it's changed my life tremendously in the 3 years that I've been part of this organization. And right after my first hike, which was in Gettysburg in 2021, I immediately said, how do I bring this to Cleveland? How do I get it, to the veterans in my home city?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The being able to feel like you have a place where you belong, where you fit in, is so important for all walks of life. And we have that for so long. We build these so close relationships, and then we get pulled away from that when we leave. So having these events, these marches, is a fantastic way to give that feeling back. Now, if there are other veterans that want to join us, where can they go, get more information, get signed up so they can come and take part in this?
So there's our main website, irreverentwarriors.com, where you can, if you go to the events tab on the page, it'll pull up a map of the world that you can zoom in, zoom out, and it'll show you every single city that we have currently have a hike at. Now, we have other cities that are still in community development. So if you go on Facebook and you just type in IW, it'll start picking up cities all across the country, all across the world. And each city community has a private Facebook group. Now, there is also a main Irreverent Warriors Facebook page as well, but each city is specific to that city that allows you to see what events are going on in your city, in your local community, and the close cities around will share their events in their cities as well. And another great thing about the Great Lakes region is we started 2 months ago a monthly newsletter. So we're sending out a newsletter for every city in the Great Lakes region showing what events they have going on. Usually pulling emails from the Eventbrite registrations from people who have registered at these events.
Wow, that's fantastic. And
That's
so, how many people are we expecting to be at these marches? How many? What does the typical crowd look like?
It depends on your cities. So you have destination cities like Fort Lauderdale, New York City, Washington, D.C. Those hikes will get, upwards of 300 people participating in the hike. Cleveland is more of an intimate city. Pittsburgh's more of an intimate city. We'll get this year, Cleveland's finally looking around 100. But those intimate cities, that's where you're at. You're around 100, 150, a little smaller because we don't have those, destination beaches or things that people travel for vacations for. But it's still powerful in and of itself when you have that smaller group. It allows you to connect with more people on that intimate level and build your support base.
Yeah, absolutely. Evo, any other questions?
No, I'm looking forward to getting out there and meeting you and all the other veterans and getting to interact and yeah, looking forward to it. It's my first time in Cleveland, so
it's interesting. I wish there was a couple things that are out of my control. So there's a couple parts of the city I'd love to be able to show people, but construction, and then there is a Browns game that afternoon. And if you know anything about the Browns, where the stadium is, there's 2 roads in and out of the stadium area. Mm-hmm. So I cannot, I can't take 100 people down through those crowds, try and maintain the hike element at the same time. So we'll go up on the Mall B where we can get a good view of the lakefront where the stadium, the Rock Hall, and the Science Center are, but I can't, because of the crowds, I can't actually take everybody down there like we did last year. So each year can be slightly different too. We try to change up the route and the things we view, but there's definitely parts of the city that people have never seen or experienced before that they get to when they're on these hikes. So that's a good, sweet thing about it as well.
And there was one important thing that we talked about just before. We wanted to make sure that there was a press release that was really came out, a place that we will not be stopping on this hike now, correct?
Correct. I have never had any personal interaction with the owner himself. My interactions have been with the manager, the general manager, and they've been a great support for the past couple of years. However, because of that press release, we will not be going there, as a lot of our hikers have experienced MST. And since it's that kind of situation, we don't want to put our people in there.
Absolutely. 100% commendable. Robert, thank you so much for coming on. This is fantastic information, and I cannot wait for Saturday. It's going to be a great, great time.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting you guys as well.
All right. Robert, thank you. We're going to get you out of here, and we're going to get the rest of the show going, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Robert Schwank Jr. Really appreciative of him coming on and, giving us all that information. I'm really pumped, man. Byron has all of our shirts. We're going to be rocking our No Sleeves Network shirts. And we got plenty of equipment that we're going to have to take and drag around and backpack through the city of Cleveland. But I am very, very excited for it.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And look, I mean, it's something that, we have viewers probably that aren't from the military community. Like, we are veterans, and No Sleeves Network is definitely heavily veteran based, but
Mhm.
it's something that, I guess I didn't really understand, but then I understood later on in life with myself where uh, football, like, it's a team sport.
Mhm.
I'm playing football in high school, and it is like kind of my life at the time. And then I have, this terrible knee injury. I can't play the game anymore, and I'm lost.
Right.
And I went through a hardcore depression of not knowing what to do. Like, leaving, it was transformational time for me of not being able to play the sport I love, not having, to be physically active like I was before, and then to leave the house and go to college, at the same time frame where I was
Mhm.
supposed to be playing football. And like, it was a depressing time for me. And one of the big reasons because I was lost and I wanted to be part of that team again.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of veterans, they don't have an experience like I did necessarily in the beginning of their life, where you're still relatively around your friends and your family, but you lose something really important and formative to
Yeah.
you. You get out of the military and you might have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, and now everything is different and you don't have that support structure. And so having a march like this, a Reverend Warrior March, where, it is, veteran focused and a space for us to get together with other veterans where, you might have served and I don't know you, but we have that common bond, that connection. That's an awesome thing that we're getting to be a part of. Definitely looking forward to getting to do that this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it is really powerful to feel like that you belong somewhere, and that people know you, or at least have some shared experience. Anytime that you're dealing, like when I got out, I made the transition right into a contractor. It was easy. I never left. I just didn't have to wear the uniform anymore. I was doing the same job, expected to do the same things. I just wore slacks and a collared shirt, which was the bane of my existence, by the way. I couldn't stand wearing a collared shirt. But then I left and I came out here, and things are very different. And there was a bit of an adjustment period. So this program is fantastic. I cannot wait. Very much look forward to it. But with that, brother, are we ready to start diving into some other sports? We'll stay with Team USA though. Talk some Olympics and final medal counts and a couple other things that happened along the way that affected that medal count.
Yeah, let's do it, brother. Let's get into it.
All right, man. So U.S. they typically always get the most medals. I cannot remember a time where the U.S. has not gotten the most medals. They do it again. 126, the total medal count. 40 golds, pretty damn good. How are we tied with China in golds? I don't necessarily love to see in the tie with China, but congrats to those Chinese athletes as well. They obviously work very, very hard. But when we're talking Olympics, it's hard to not just get the America, especially when you got a dumbass mullet like I do. Like, it's cool that we got at least tied for the most medals, but I would like to see us get one extra gold.
Yeah, and look, I mean, the one extra would have been great. I am happy. Look, we still smoked them, like,
Yeah.
in the total medal count. And so when you put it in like that sort of perspective, it's like if there was only golds in here, it would feel a lot worse to tie, because
Right.
you know how we hate ties on the show.
Yeah, we hate ties.
And so I don't really view this as much as a tie, because, like, did we get 40 golds and they got 40 golds? Yeah, but we also got what, 20, 35 fucking extra medals than you, so suck our dicks. That's like kind of
Absolutely.
that's where I come from when it goes with this medal count. So congrats to all the athletes. It was a good Olympics, obviously. And happy to be out there in the lead, number one, as we should be.
Yeah, hell yeah. Team USA basketball won gold in both. Also, big numbers in audience. So apparently the people that boycotted don't watch basketball. Who'd have guessed?
Yeah. I never really got the whole boycott thing. I feel like that is maybe more of a talk topic, but
Yeah, probably.
it is like I feel like we just look for anything as a society now to get upset about, whether or not you really give a fuck. Like, let's just get upset for no good reason.
Yeah. One reason that we might want to get upset though is a story that it's kind of got you a little hot under the collar, and it deals with some women's gymnastics.
Yeah. So, and shout out to Arif Hassan, Wide Left Podcast. I'm a huge fan of him and his football content, specifically with the Minnesota Vikings. But he does a lot of other content, political stuff and other sports stuff. But I credit to him in really keying me onto this. I was kind of tracking, but you might have heard the name Jordan Childs, a American female gymnast, floor routine. She ended up getting the bronze or didn't in this most recent Olympics. And there's been a controversy with it, which is continuing on still within the past 24 hours. So Jordan Childs ended up winning bronze, not initially, but getting a bronze medal in the women's floor routine. Romania and their athlete, which I don't have the name of specifically, but she initially got third. And if you aren't aware, in gymnastics, there is a difficulty score that basically like a modifier, think of it, that increases your score based on the difficulty of things that you're doing. I don't even know completely how that works. I just know that Jordan Child's difficulty score, the judges did not appropriately reflect that in her score. And so teams are allowed to appeal, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that there is a time limit with your appeal. Romania basically went to the court of arbitration for the Olympics and said, we do not think that Team USA appealed in the correct amount of time. So the rules for the Olympics are that for all of the gymnasts, after the scores are released, teams on behalf of their gymnast are allowed to appeal within 3 minutes of that score being released, unless you are the last gymnast.
Oh,
If you're the last gymnast, you have 1 minute. Why? No one has a good answer. It's bullshit. It's a bullshit. Like, why? I don't know.
To move on to the next events?
Maybe, but what's the difference between an
they fucking stagger the events anyways. Like, what the hell are we doing?
What's the difference with an extra 2 minutes? Either way, doesn't matter. Romania says they didn't get their appeal in to move Jordan Childs into third in time. They say that it happened in 1 minute and 4 seconds. Not
fuck up, Romania.
So, and look, I'm not going to completely hold this against Romania. This is on the court of arbitration and the judges. So, the judges fucked up in the first place. They did not award the points for difficulty score as they should have correctly.
100%.
And the U.S. requested a review, and apparently, according to Romania and the court of arbitration, in 1 minute and 4 seconds instead of 1 minute. All right. Romania said to the court of arbitration, when they appealed the score after the fact, we think the U.S. fucked up, but we do not want to strip the bronze of Jordan Childs. We want to share the bronze. We want our athlete to share the bronze and for us to both have the bronze. Court of arbitration said, nah, Jordan Childs, you need to send the bronze back. Your team on your behalf did not get in the appeal on time. All right. So Romania tried to do a solid. They tried to not be like, hey, it's ours. We want it back. They were like, hey, this person was already given the bronze. It would be real fucked up to completely take it away. Let's share. All right. Cool. Court of arbitration says nah. All right. Yeah. Now the U.S. says, hold up. Wait a minute. Wait
a minute.
We have video from two different angles, two separate video sources that show that we put in our review in 47 seconds. All right. Now, the fun part about this is that unlike the pitch clock in baseball or your official timer play clock in the NFL, there's no buzzer, no anything like that. There's no official clock.
So when does the clock fucking start?
Right. There's nothing official about this officially sanctioned time.
As soon as it flashes, you got fucking 1 minute?
Something like that. Either way, the U.S. publicly has shown they've got two videos, and they put these videos out showing 47 seconds, both videos, that the appeal was put in. The Romanian team and their appeal, there's been nothing to substantiate where the 1 minute 4 seconds has come from. Nothing publicly released. No one can say what evidence has been submitted to the court of arbitration. Either way, the U.S. submitted that appeal, And according to reports as of right now, USA Gymnastics was notified by the Court of Arbitration for Sport on Monday that their rules do not allow for arbitral award to be reconsidered even when conclusive new evidence has been permitted, i.e., the Court of Arbitration has now said, we aren't taking your appeal showing that you have conclusive evidence that we fucked up not once but twice, and that the medal is being stripped from Jordan Childs and being given to Romania.
Yeah,
So
a governing body is not going to say, you know what, you're right, we fucked up.
Yeah,
I don't care what governing body it is.
Jordan Childs won the bronze.
Yeah.
After a fuck up by the judges, and then the judges and the Court of Arbitration fucked up again, and now they're not going to say we fucked up twice.
No,
Jordan Childs,
you're lucky you got it once.
Jordan Childs won the bronze. I think everybody now knows she has won the bronze, but she will not be having that medal, and it's a fucking travesty. Yeah, it's again, you work for years for this, and to have two fuck ups. One that initially prevents you from getting the medal, and now a second where it's obvious that the fuck up is out there. It's not even being said that we didn't fuck up. It's just saying we can't accept.
Yeah, it's like, I did fuck up, but I can't unfuck up my fuck up.
Yeah, it's terrible. USA Gymnastics said that they're deeply disappointed by the notification and will continue to pursue every possible avenue and appeal process, including the Swiss Federal Tribunal, to ensure that scoring and placement of medal awards are for Jordan.
The Swiss Federal Tribunal sounds very official. I have never heard of that in my entire life.
Right? And I mean, look, I get it. Like when you work years for this, like you're going to do everything you can to get the 100%. Medal, to get it correctly awarded. And I'll tell you this, like if I'm the Romanian gymnast, I'm super disappointed too, because now I and my country kind of looks like the asshole. Like, and now I have a medal that I don't deserve.
Yeah, you have one that you didn't fucking earn. You're not going to show that off.
Like part of me, and it's easy for me to say this from the outside, right? I'm not holding an Olympic medal, but like I would like to think that if I'm the Romanian, I'd be like, okay, actually, I did use this fair and square. Court of Arbitration, I'm giving this to her because I'm going to do the right thing. If you aren't, I'm going to do the right thing. So it's an interesting situation here. It might be over. It might not be. We'll see what this fucking Swiss Federal Tribunal fucking comes up with. Either way, the U.S. currently has 126 medals. There should be an asterisk. It should be 127.
127.
And Jordan Childs,
yeah,
we know.
I was gonna say, like Jordan Childs, you should be very proud of your accomplishment because you won the medal. Hopefully, you get the medal. But we all know you won.
You won.
That's what matters, right? The court of public opinion sometimes is way more important than the court of arbitration for sport that can't apparently reverse its own decision. How the fuck does that make any sense? Who made the rule that they can't reverse their own decision? They did, right?
Yeah.
They made that rule so they can just unmake that fucking rule.
This wouldn't be the Lineman Lounge if we weren't.
Didn't hear a word of that. You broke up. This would be the Lineman Lounge if what?
I said this wouldn't be the Lineman Lounge if we weren't challenging officials in a sport, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So with that, are we ready to transition over into the place where we're going to almost certainly trash on officials for special teams all year?
Hey, look, I think we're all getting used to the special teams. I've been misquoting shit with the special teams. Yeah. I can barely get down these new rules yet. I think I need to get in my rule book for it. But yeah, we're for sure this season. It wouldn't be an NFL season if there weren't terrible calls by the officials, and we're absolutely going to get into those. But in general, we have a new NFL year started. It is the full first week of the NFL preseason, which is fucking awesome. We have our full slate of games wrapped up and a lot of information on a lot of crazy speculation. And I mean, you might think you're about to win the Super Bowl if you have certain teams right now based off of 1 week of preseason play with backups and everything. Like, we are going to the bowl.
Dude, I remember winning the Super Bowl in the preseason so many times, dude. The Browns were going to win, and it just never happened. The preseason still doesn't mean much, but there are some things that we can take away. And for me, I went through the all day today for the most part, and I watched tape on rookie quarterbacks. So, and I know we'll just start with your guy. Terrible, terrible news today. JJ McCarthy goes down. He's going to have knee surgery. No timetable yet because meniscus tear. They don't know if they're repairing. They don't know if they're trimming. It sucks for Vikings fans. So I know that you're not happy about this.
Yeah.
JJ looked pretty damn good at points, and we talked while I was watching film today. When he's got a clean pocket, that kid can fucking sling it. I did see some things that made me a little leery, like his interception. That ball is behind the receiver while he's moving on the run. He struggled moving off of his spot a little bit. But do we know when this knee injury happened, if that's causing him any kind of discomfort when he's kind of moving around making these throws? We don't know. Evo, I know this sucks. He looked pretty good from what I saw. What did you see out of him, and how much does this kind of suck in where you were expecting him to take over at some point? Does that happen now that we've got the knee injury?
Yeah, so I'll stick with the game first. One, I'm super ecstatic with what I saw from him. Like, it is very rare that as a Minnesota sports fan, you can be like, oh, we got a rookie quarterback that you feel really good about. We've had Teddy Bridgewater, who had his lumps and was looking to become a pretty decent quarterback until his fucking leg blew up. We had Dante Culpepper in the day who took a little while to mature and get good, and then had an amazing MVP style season, and then his knees blew up. Like, knee injuries, and it just feels like we can't have anything nice here in Minnesota, especially when it comes to the quarterback. It sucks. But what I saw from him in the game, I didn't expect him to look as good as he did. Definitely lumps, definitely things to fix, but these are all like relatively easily correctable things. Things that, like you said, moving off the spot and when he's got pressure coming at him, making those throws, like, he's gone through pretty significant mechanical changes, specifically with his footwork, where in Michigan, throwing on the run was he was better at throwing on the run. And I think some of these mechanical changes, he's still getting used to it and stuff like that. I'm not holding a whole lot against him because A, I didn't expect him to be the starter from the get-go, and B, I didn't expect him to be this far along. When it comes to that interception, like, I'm kind of glad that he had it and got it out of the way, because afterwards, like, he played really well, and he kind of talked about it in his presser, like, it took that interception for me to be able to feel like I can play loose now. Like, I can do my thing. And he did. And look, the interception is on him. But as has been pointed out by some other sports commentators and JT O'Sullivan, it's not actually 100% on him. I mean, he's the one who released the ball.
He's drifting. His receiver's drifting.
Yeah, they're talking about Tristan Jackson. He actually was drifting away from the play when the scramble started happening. He should have cut back inwards. And if McCarthy had led a little bit further, that probably would have been a reception. He also was going up against a very good cornerback in Jack Jones, a starter there for the Raiders. So, like, I don't want to make excuses for him. Those are things that got to be corrected. Same with a little boot out to the left, had pressure in his face and sailed over his receiver. There are things that definitely need to be corrected. But the good I saw out of him was great. Like, he was throwing on target, good accuracy.
Deep ball looks real good come out of his hands, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I was very happy with it, and it seems like it's just a couple little tiny mechanical things, and obviously the mental part of the game and the speed of NFL football that he has to get up to speed with. Now, as far as the injury, we don't know when it happened. KOC has said that he doesn't know when it happened in the game. McCarthy didn't say a word about it in the game. It was he came back the next day and said, hey, I just want to let you know my knee's kind of hurting. They went, checked it out, did an MRI. It was yesterday that KOC initially brought it up that he has some knee soreness, that they don't know what it is, but that they're going to get an MRI to check it out. And it was Judd Zolgad, one of the former Star Tribune lead beat writer for the Minnesota Vikings, now part of Purple Daily, who was like the way that he said it kind of got me thinking like maybe they know that this is something a little bit more and that they weren't sure if he was going to make the trip to Cleveland or not. And turns out, yes, meniscus injury. They haven't, I don't believe, come out and fully said that it is a tear because they don't know how severe it is. They are going to go in there, do surgery, and find out, does he need a full repair or just a meniscectomy, which is a shaving of the meniscus. Now, if it is that shaving of the meniscus, we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks before he can become active again. If it is the full repair, that's anywhere from 3 to 6 months, which would mean obviously that his season is done. Kevin O'Connell has said today that they are going to lean into whatever is best for his long-term health. And that's obviously the way to go when you're talking about a 21-year-old quarterback that is expected to be the face of your franchise for the next decade. And especially after what you saw from him this weekend, you think, yeah, we probably got something here. They weren't planning on rushing him along anyway. Sam Darnold, who looked pretty fucking good.
Dude, I was going to say that throw, I want second drive. He feathers one over.
He only played
line.
One drive.
Oh, is it? Okay. So there was the first drive.
Yeah.
He feathered that one over the linebackers and in front of the safeties. Jumping linebacker just out of reach. It's a beautiful ball. If Sam Darnold can play like that, then you guys can be pretty decent. But you hear Justin Jefferson talking about you got to stretch the field, got to stretch the field, got to stretch the field. If you guys haven't seen this game, if you have NFL Plus, you can go back and watch the replay. Justin Jefferson does an excellent job breaking down a lot of the shit that the Vikings want to try to do. I was really pumped that they had him on for so long when I was watching the game.
Yeah, they had him on for the whole third quarter, which is where, you have 2 touchdowns from JJ McCarthy. Yeah. And it's fun listening to Justin Jefferson on the sideline, like as the play, like before the throw happens.
Teammate.
Before the play happens, like on that second touchdown, blown coverage. But immediately he goes, "We got him." Like as soon as the snap happens, "We got him." Before the pass is thrown, he knows that it's a blown coverage and that they got him wide down the right. Like it was really fun to listen to, and it just kind of goes to show like how smart he is about the coverages and what's going on. And look, that's what KOC's been about, is kind of attacking with the ball down the field. And so like the way that Sam Darnold played, which if you look at his stat line, it's nothing super impressive. He was 4 for 8. Keep in mind, 2 of those passes were drops by Ty Chandler. One of them should have been a touchdown. And both of them were pretty easy catchable balls that were dropped by Ty Chandler, who had a pretty abysmal first drive or 2, and then kind of turned things around and looked a little bit better. His stats would have looked obviously a lot better off of one drive. He probably would have been closer to about 80, 75, 80 yards passing, 6 for 8, when he was 4 for 8, 59 yards. Good plays on third down. Like Sam Darnold looked pretty damn good for a guy who, has been much maligned. We've talked plenty of shit about on this show. I mean, but again, you were playing for the Jets and the Panthers and whatnot. It's not a good situation out there.
It was not.
It makes me feel a lot better about the season overall, but I was fully on board, as I think the Vikings were, with Sam Darnold being your starter at the beginning of the year and throughout the year as necessary in order to allow JJ McCarthy to sit and mature and get better in the system and come out swinging in 2025. The thing that I'm sad about, of course, I don't want him to be injured, but I wasn't expecting JJ McCarthy to start week 1. Based on the way that he played on Saturday, if we were starting week 1, I think that he would have his lumps, but he would not have a absolutely terrible year. But I was good with him sitting and Sam starting. What makes me sad,
about week 7, I'm going to guess, because you guys have an absolutely fucking brutal schedule to start the year.
Yeah, we do have a very tough beginning schedule, but overall, I mean, it's a tough schedule, and we know how sometimes that can break a quarterback mentally.
Yeah, you don't want to start a rookie quarterback first look against your front. I think it's your first 7 games. You guys are it's a tough slog.
Yeah, after the bye week is really when you want, which is around week 8. But obviously, we don't want JJ to be hurt, right? But my fear now is, okay, if this is the full surgery, he'll still get the mental reps, but I want him to be out there working on the mechanics, not having to focus at all about the recovery stuff. And that's what kind of sucks, is we'll see if this is the full surgery or if it's the one where he's back in 4 to 6 weeks after kind of shaving. Obviously, the team wants to err on the side of caution. If it's going to be the full recovery, he's going to be out for a while. But we have a great training staff, good at recovering with this team. I don't think that this is going to long-term hurt McCarthy and his ceiling or anything like that going forward. But of course, I want him to be available sooner, not so that he can play this year, but so that way he can get more reps. That being said, as well, if Darnold is your starter, he's getting a majority of the practice, right? McCarthy's going to get his in practice, but nowhere near like you are in training camp or anything like that. So there might not be a ton of reps lost, but still, and look, McCarthy gets the surgery regardless. He's going to be there in house. He didn't leave between OTAs and training camp. He stayed at the facilities working while other guys are off taking vacations. Like the guy's a hard worker. He's got the head on him to work through this. And obviously he's a bit of a dog. He was playing with some sort of a meniscus tear and didn't say a fucking word to anybody because he's out there doing what he's doing. He's playing ball. So
out there balling.
I'm super happy to have the kid. I think sky's the limit for him. Depending on what you think of some of these comments, Chase Daniels, former NFL quarterback backup, he said, I got to be honest. I think JJ possibly had the best rookie performance of this first week. I don't know that I'd go that far.
So.
I think
Williams,
it was
dog.
Up there, but Caleb Williams had himself a pretty.
It was like really fucking good.
And like Mike said, he watched all the rookie quarterbacks. I watched a majority of the rookie quarterbacks, and we're going to get into all these and probably just at least at a minimum recap a couple notes here of each and every one of these games. But look, I know this isn't a Vikings podcast, but I was very happy with the performances in that game in general. I don't care so much that we won. But there was, I think, almost every single one of our rookies that we had out there, including UDFAs, showed me something where it's like, this guy can probably make the team. We saw things from guys that, like Jalen Naylor, he's expected to be our third receiver this year. Past 2 years, he's been injured. He keeps getting hurt. But everyone, his nickname on the team is Speedy Naylor. I'm going to try to work in some better ones this year, something like Jalen, take my daughter out to dinner, and then Naylor, something like that. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to get some cool nicknames in there for him, but like he looked pretty fucking good. We got Nick Muse, who is going to get some playing time this year, but while Hoggins is out, had a pretty solid catch out there. Like I saw some good things from some offensive guys, some offensive linemen, which, guys that I had done a lot of work in the pre-draft process that I didn't know about when the Vikings drafted him, who actually went out and looked pretty decent.
I want to know who the dude is, Jurgen, or who got ran.
Jurgens.
He got run the fuck over to get the field goal blocked.
Yeah. He's kind of positionless. He's going to be an interior guy, and he was a sixth rounder. But long term, they see him as a potential center replacement, though I think they are playing him at both guard spots and center as a backup role right now. But you've got guys like
Max, dude. He got run the fuck over for that block field goal.
Yes, surely did. But you've got Bo Richter, who UDFA out of Air Force, 2 sacks. One of them ended up being credited as a TFL later on. But dude, high pressure rate in college, only 1 year of production, but like looked really fucking good out there.
Air Force, man. I mean, you never know what's going to happen with the academy schools. I mean, I hope the kid makes it too, because that means he can push off his required service for a little bit.
He's been looking good in camp as well. You got Levi Drake Rodriguez from Texas A&M Commerce, a school I didn't know existed, who was our last pick in the draft. Big Mexican long-haired looking dude. Fucking motor on him. He goes out there and gets himself a sack as well. Like I saw a lot of good stuff from the rookies, which makes me really happy because look, 2024, I want to be competitive this year, but the eyes are all towards 2025. That's when things are supposed to really start falling in line. That's when we get all this cap space cleared up. We got a first round pick still. And I would be remiss to not talk about our other first round pick from this year, who looked pretty fucking good.
He is a fucking bat out of hell, dude. He shot out of the cannon on every fucking play.
Dallas
I wasn't
Turner's
sure
got a motor on him.
Dude, I wasn't sure. Like neither one of us were super high on Dallas Turner in the pre-draft process. Watching
there were definitely guys that I liked better for sure.
Yeah, Jesus, man, he is so fast off the ball. I mean, and you see it on the testing. Like all of his testing numbers tell you that this guy should be an absolutely explosive athlete. And it looked like he could do it at this next level as well. I'm not going to worry too much about his run fits or his edge setting at this point. Dallas Turner's not a guy that I'm worried about setting the edge too often. He's the guy that I'm sending to go get the quarterback no matter what.
Yeah, like I told you earlier when we were talking today, a couple other notable people out there in the sports world throwing around the term Micah Parsons of the North. And I'm not willing to go that far yet, but man, that would be pretty fucking nice to have one of those guys on our team. I said it before, Daniil Hunter, I love the dude. Fantastic defensive end. He got himself some this weekend with the Texans as well, getting a sack, looking good out there. I've loved Daniil for a long time, and it was sad to see him go. But I think that the guys that we have coming off the edge now are a better fit for this Flores defense. And Turner is going to be really good going forward, I think, especially as a rusher against the pass. So, like, excited to see that. Again, I think that we might be an average team this year as far as our record is concerned. Eyes are towards 2025, and things are looking pretty good there.
I'm very jealous of how excited you are about your team because I feel like I haven't had any good Browns news in fucking weeks, it feels like, bro, because things are not getting any better. Actually, I take it back. I've had one bit of exciting Browns news that everybody on Twitter is fighting about. So it's really not that much fun. But the news from today that is just, if any of this is true, the man should be cut immediately. Michael Hall Jr. has been charged with
domestic violence with a deadly weapon or something like that.
Violence with, yeah. And I don't know if you have seen any of the information about it, but it is very out there right now. Apparently held a gun to the mother of his child's head, threatened to end it all right now while child is present. He's got to go. And this is a shit situation because here's the thing. We want the due process to happen, right? Everybody is entitled to the due process. But how long can you hang on for the due process to continue and let this guy sit on the roster if it comes out to be true? Like, you got to get somebody on the roster to take his place because you're trying to fill out you're 53. And Michael Hall, second round pick, was going to be part of that, was supposed to be a rotational player. But at the same time, how can you even think about keeping this individual on your team with these allegations?
This is one of those situations where you would have to try to initiate the commissioner's exempt rule, like they did with Adrian Peterson back in the day, and they've done with other players since, where they don't count against your roster number. They still get paid, but it basically isn't taking up that roster spot and allows you to kind of move forward while the court process is playing out.
I don't know if we're going to get to that point. They're going to have to make a decision before all of this process goes.
And we'll see.
He hasn't been put on the commissioner's exempt list yet.
No, but he was arrested.
Needs to be rectified. Yeah, he was turning himself in, I believe. This situation has to be rectified a day or two.
It's kind of interesting that the bond was set so low. So I'm going to read what ESPN has here, that he was arrested and booked Tuesday. Police spokesperson told ESPN he pleaded not guilty, according to a clerk in the Avon Lake Municipal Court. His bond was only set at $10,000, and he has a hearing set for September 10th. $10,000 is a pretty low bond for this sort of thing. $100,000 is a lot closer to what you would kind of expect. According to the police report, Hall grabbed a handgun during an argument, pressed it against the woman's temple, and threatened, "I will effing end it all. I don't care." The woman then told police that she is engaged to Hall and that she shares an 11-month-old child with him. That the altercation began when she and Hall were discussing the financial needs of her daughter from a different relationship. And it also says that, according to the report, the woman said that Hall screamed at her to leave the house, grabbed her by her feet, and drug her on her back down the driveway, and that Hall left the house before authorities arrived, according to the report. Now,
that sounds disgusting.
Absolutely.
It's disgusting.
But unless there's other evidence that this actually happened, which I would have to assume that the police would check the woman for like scratch marks and stuff on her back, things like that, they are going to take her word basically and let things figure themselves out afterwards. He might not have done any of this. He might have done this. We don't really know. And like you said, the due process part of it, it's really tough.
Well, and it's not like we haven't seen this story play out before where a player harms a wife girlfriend and wife girlfriend stand beside him because they're worried about what's going to happen as a repercussion or their lives are going to change. And if this happened, we don't want this person in the building. So these situations suck, and I wish we weren't dealing with it, but you absolutely can't keep him on the roster if an ounce of this is true.
Yep. Now, the woman who is the alleged victim in this case, her mother corroborated the details of in a written statement to the police, including that she witnessed Hall strike her daughter on the head with a baby bottle, choked her by the neck, pushed her head through a wall, and broke open a bedroom door in order to drag her out. Authorities also said that they observed several indicators of a physical altercation during a walkthrough of the home, including, according to the report, they saw 2 handguns lying on a mattress. Again, could it be staged? Maybe, but it doesn't look good. It absolutely doesn't sound good.
Yeah, that situation sucks. The Browns have not given me really any good news. The only good news is that we're going to get a dome, and it's going to look badass, and eventually at some point we're going to probably host a Super Bowl. But that news kind of pales in comparison to the shit that's actually going on, the important things that are going on. So yeah, I'm jealous of your Vikings news. The Browns, I'm not pumped. We didn't play well. Multiple guys got hurt. And then our first pick in this draft decided he was going to basically end his career in the night. Yeah. So,
but hey, you traded for a former offensive lineman of yours, brought him back in.
Yeah, so that needed to happen because we lost Luke Whippler during the preseason game, going to be out for an extended period of time, I think possibly the year with surgery. So we were thin in the middle of the line, so we got to go out. We get Nick Harris. It makes 100% sense. We're used to Nick. We know Nick. Nick can play multiple positions for us. He's actually lined up at fullback a lot. He's even listed on the roster on ClevelandBrowns.com as center/fullback. That's how much he fucking lined up at fullback. Now, I don't know if they're going to keep it up there because he's obviously not a fullback. But, yeah, it's great to have him back. We'll see how we use him. Hopefully we won't need to use him too much, but we needed a piece to bring in for the depth. But small bit of news there. This week, though, your team, my team, playing in the preseason game. Thursday, joint practice is going on. JJ obviously will not be taking part. I think Deshaun is going to take part in some of the preseason practice. Preseason practices, hopefully this one will be well run, where it's not every fucking day that we're seeing a fight break out.
Which did end up resulting in fines. So I think, obviously NFL wasn't looking too kindly on the scraps that they had the week prior.
Yeah, Lions and Giants fights were every day. Malik Neighbors was an absolute instigator in a couple of them. So hopefully we don't have any fights. Hopefully nobody gets hurt during this week for both of our teams. And then
stay safe, stay healthy, have a nice preseason game between the two of us.
Yeah, not Thursday. Saturday is the game.
Saturday. Yep.
Saturday is the game.
Yep. But other than that, we had a whole slew of other games, starting off with 2 games on Thursday. First one between the Patriots and Panthers, potentially the 2 worst teams in the NFL this year.
I only made it so far into this game. I couldn't take it anymore. It was so hard to watch both of these offenses who didn't really have an offense. Both of these teams are really bad. They're going to be really bad. Drake May didn't play much. I didn't get much of a read. The weather was shit. He didn't play much. Joe Milton looked athletic in terms of our rookie quarterbacks, but I couldn't get a lot from this game because these offenses are so fucking bad.
Yeah, the Patriots, I think you've got, your best receiver right now is a guy that, was the Vikings' number 3 receiver last year, in KJ Osborne. They don't have a lot going for him on offense. There's Ramondre Stevenson, but it's going to be tough for him to run with how bad of an offense that is around him. We didn't get to see a ton from the quarterback play there. Like I said, Joe Milton, he stood out because he's so athletic and has such a strong arm. But you saw some of the issues, like he threw deep balls that were way overthrown and things like that. Like if you were to start him, or if he were to be the starter, you'd probably have some splashy plays, but their long-term success, I don't think is really there, which is where a lot of that whole, Milton's looking better than Drake May from camp is starting to come out because he's just looking like a man amongst boys out there when it comes to athleticism and whatnot.
I'm looking for it now.
And uh, on the flip side, the Panthers, like they were abysmal last year. They looked pretty abysmal in this game. But and this is something that we kind of disagree about a little bit, but we've got a upgraded offensive line who at least I think will be better in the run game. You went out and got Jonathan Brooks in the draft this year, possibly the best running back, who I think is going to be a stud when he comes back from injury. You've added some more receiving talent there in Deontay Johnson. You already had Adam Thielen, and then you go out and get a dog that we like, Xavier Legette, out there. So you got some more guys to throw the ball around to. I mean, the defense is still going to be absolutely terrible. You lose Brian Burns, your best guy, and don't have a ton else out there. But I think that the Panthers offense, if Bryce Young takes a slight step forward, they're at least going to be better running the ball, but they could be a better offense. I just don't think that they're going to be good overall. I still think the Patriots are probably right now slated to be like the worst roster out there. And it's going to be real tough for them to stay competitive in what should be a competitive AFC East. Just a real shitty game, though.
Yeah, it was terrible game. Yeah, I didn't learn much. Jonathan Brooks eventually will be a good player. Neither one of these teams are going to be any fun to watch. The probably worst AFC and NFC team respectively.
Yep. We then had the Lions and Giants go out there and play. Not a ton to come out of this game. Hendon Hooker played for the Lions, ended up getting a concussion. Not great to see, a guy who came in with an injury last year and now is also going to be sidelined potentially because of this injury. One note for me on this Giants team is, the running back room is definitely open and available to see who's going to get to play there. My guy that I was big on in the draft process, Tyrone Tracy, didn't have as big of a day as Gray did, who had 2 rushing touchdowns there, but I thought Tyrone Tracy looked like a pretty solid back, like he has what it takes to be an NFL back. So he's someone that I'm definitely going to watch going forward in these next Giants preseason games, at least to see if he's someone that I might be looking at later in a fantasy football draft or something like that. You also have the quarterback situation there for the Giants. Daniel Jones still looks like he's going to be the starter because Drew Lock went down with an oblique injury. Not that he looked great.
We're just holding on to Daniel Jones at this point because, that's the only thing they have. I would still play Tommy DeVito over fucking Daniel Jones. I really would.
I mean, DeVito looked better out there, and you saw him play decent last year. Now, Daniel Jones, look, he still has wheels on him. He ran, apparently, according to reports, for like a 60-yard touchdown today in practice.
Ooh, Vanilla Vic.
Yeah, we'll see. I think obviously this is a holdover. The Giants tried really damn hard to move up to get apparently a Drake May during the draft as well. I think they know what's going on, but Giants, a team that they've got some cool offensive firepower there. Especially with Malik Neighbors, who also injured but says he will be back for week 1. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to still produce there with kind of lackluster quarterback play. Moving on to Friday, though, we had 3 games, Falcons and Dolphins. You get to see a rookie quarterback and Michael Penix go out there. And my thoughts from this was he looks like he's probably going to be a decent quarterback, and he's probably going to have the Jordan Love treatment where he gets to sit for a while behind Kirk Cousins when realistically, he probably should be starting by next year and probably would be pretty good, but you are going to waste his rookie contract. I liked what I saw out of him.
I did too. I thought he still has to figure out how to feather a ball in places. Sometimes he just kind of wants to rip it in there. And we saw a couple balls sail high, or I saw a couple balls sail high on him when he tries to rip it in. So he's going to be good though, poised in the pocket. And yeah, he's going to be really, really good. But like you said, I'm worried that they're going to waste his entire rookie contract. And I don't know if the Falcons are going to have enough enough balls to say this doesn't work. This didn't work if the Kirk Cousins experiment doesn't work.
Yeah, look, you
He's
don't ever
coming
want to hope for an
injury.
But you don't want to hope for an injury. But at this point, if I'm a Falcons fan, I'm almost hoping that we get like halfway through a season and then I get to see Penix out there because Kirk goes down.
Especially if you're like fucking 3-5, you're like,
yeah. And look,
maybe.
I think the Falcons have a chance to be a really good team this year. Like not really good, but
I think they have a chance to win the division. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and obviously that puts them in the playoffs and anything can happen from there. But I think that their window right now is kind of small. Like they have a bit of a boomer bust team despite new head coach and some new pieces. Like you have guys in pieces like Pitts in London who have been there for a while. Their contracts are going to run out. You're going to have to pay them too. And hopefully they fucking use Bijan because I think that he could absolutely be a beast. I thought he could be last year. And I think he could be really fucking good this year with having a competent quarterback there now. Hopefully they do the right thing and make this work. But as far as Penix is concerned, I liked what I saw. It's just sad that he's going to be riding the bench unless there's an injury.
Yeah. I still like the Bucs in that division. I think they can actually win this division as well. But yeah, the Falcons are going to be competitive. That defense looks like it is playing faster because, I mean, for a team that was supposed to be predicated on running the ball on defense, everything looks slow. They look like they're quicker on the defensive side of the ball. So they're going to have a chance. Penix looks pretty good. We'll see if he plays this year, next year, or whenever.
Yeah, we'll see. Next up, Texans Steelers. The main thing I got from that Texans side of the ball is, look, Tank Dell's a fucking dog. It's good to see him back out there. They're going to have a fucking pretty goddamn good receiving room out there. Makes it interesting, again, for fantasy because you got 3 legitimate receivers out there, all that could be fantasy earners. Who are you going to go for? Yeah. How high are you going to be taking them? But look, it was nice to see Tank Dell back out there for sure. On the flip side, the Steelers quarterback situation, Justin Fields looked like he could be a competent quarterback when he wasn't making mistakes, like
when he wasn't making stupid decisions.
Like the fumbles, he hung in the pocket too long on some of those, like
way too long, man.
But then he would go out there and he actually looked like he was much more of a competent passer than I ever saw in Chicago. When he did throw, he had some pretty damn good throws, which makes me wonder, like, how much did Chicago ruin this guy? And is there anything to salvage there? Because obviously he can run the ball damn good. Like as a running quarterback, he's got it there. And he showed some of the arm talent. But now is, can you correct all the decision-making issues and those weird lapses? I don't know. Especially when you have Russell Wilson there, that's probably set to be the starter anyways.
Yeah, Russell's going to start. Justin Fields, maybe he'll have some packages because he is a supreme athletic talent. You can do some things with him that you can't do with Russell Wilson because for everything that Russell Wilson was, he is no longer that super mobile guy that you want trying to extend plays. Russell needs to be operating off of play action and more from a pocket at this point in his career. So Justin gives you that nice element, but can you get him to get rid of the fucking ball, Justin Fields? That was something that plagued him in Chicago. It didn't change in the first preseason game. He's got to get rid of the ball. I mean, decent little stat line, 5 for 6, 67 yards, but 2 sacks for 15. And those sacks, he could have easily gotten rid of the ball both times.
It's a tale of, you can't just read the box score on this guy because the box score doesn't look bad, but if you watch the tape, there was definitely some highs, but for sure some lows, and the lows are going to prevent you from being a successful quarterback in the NFL type of lows. So if those clean up, like maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers walk away and say like, hey, we kind of worked out well in this situation, but that's a rough bet right now.
Yeah, I don't like their chances. But you know who I did like in this game? A guy that's going to hang around for a very long time now that he's settled into a nice role as a backup is Davis Mills, dude. Davis Mills was slinging it around the yard. He looked pretty good, very confident, knew what he was doing. Like, obviously, you never want your franchise guy to go down, but Davis Mills looked like he could possibly play top, I don't know, or maybe up to 20th in the NFL quarterback wise. Like, could be a bottom tier starter in the right situation because he looked incredibly confident, knew where the ball was going, and got it out quick.
I mean, Davis Mills, 4th-round pick from Stanford, was never intended to come in there and be the starter, but started a lot of games for the Texans. And I think that experience definitely is going to help him out. Like, he's going to be one of those high-end backups in the NFL for quite a while. And a guy that you don't feel absolutely terrible. I mean, in their situation, you're going to feel terrible if he's playing instead of Stroud because that means he's hurt. But, like, it's not like a complete loss if he has to come in and play 2-3 weeks or something like that. You can still get a productive offense out of him. So, yeah, like Davis Mills had himself a good day there too. Next up, Eagles Ravens. I don't have a ton to talk about with this game. Eagles get it, the win 16-13. The biggest thing for me there with the Eagles is you've got a new offensive system in there, and I think that it's going to be a big benefit. Probably like last year, we saw that offense just did not work out, but bringing in Kellen Moore, I think that offensive system actually is going to work with those guys. They're a lot better. I'm kind of scared about how be. The real question is going to come down to, can that defense flip it around from how kind of abysmal they were, especially at the end of last year. One fantasy note here, because I'm going to interject those. Saquon Barkley obviously could be very good in this offense, not being the focal point for the Giants, and getting some flexibility to be both a receiver and a runner is going to help. But one thing that you kind of do have to take into account is that tush push is probably going to be taking away 5+ touchdowns from him this year. So like, it's something Saquon's going, a late first, early second in most drafts. It's something that you have to be cognizant of and be aware of, unless they are going to start putting Saquon in there for the tush push.
I will be very interested to see if they still do the tush push in the similar fashion
without Kelsey.
I mean, he perfected that thing
for sure. You have to assume that
it'll
other
be
players
there,
on the team
but
are practicing.
Will it be as effective if they use it as often as they did before?
Yeah, it is definitely a legitimate question.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from this is that Kenny Pickett still stinks. 14 completions for 89 yards. I mean, just check down Charlie, baby. Baby hands can't get it out there too far. That's all I got on this one, man.
All righty. Next up, the Commanders and the Jets. So what's up?
Did we pop them in there?
I didn't even see
Legal ham. For some reason, it's like at the top. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Boy, appreciate you hopping in.
It is at the top. That's interesting. It's good to see you. But next we got the Commanders and the Jets. Big news from the Jets right now is Hassan Reddick. Still not reported, still requesting a trade. I thought he requested the trade a while ago. It's an interesting situation there because I think both sides have fumbled this completely, football term. The Jets going out there.
The Jets fucked this up real bad
without already having a contract figured out for him or make sure that he was happy to go there. That's a fail by the Jets. Hassan Reddick not showing up for anything yet, to at least not be incurring penalties, look good to his teammates, things like that. Also a big fuck up on his part. I mean, he has not shown up to OTAs, any of training camp. Nothing at all. And the Jets, as of today, I guess, are saying like, hey, he's expected to be here. He is a member of this team. We are not trading him. And this is kind of a different situation from some of the other players out there, Brandon Ayuk, who is holding out, saying like, I'm not going to play. Like,
holding in now, I believe he's holding in.
If you're the Jets, you can get away without Hassan Reddick. Like, it fucking sucks for sure. Like, you were expecting him to be a big part of your pass rush this year.
Yeah.
But the Jets have a pretty damn good defense, one way or the other. Hassan Reddick's only going to make them better, but it's not going to tank their season. So like, his leverage there really isn't that great, because if he sits the year, like, his next contract is not going to be as big as his current one could be.
Yeah, Hassan Reddick is in a tough spot to be demanding money because I don't think of Hassan Reddick as being this otherworldly pass rusher that I want to give lots of money to, a guy who is, a big sack number guy. Even though he does generate a lot of pressures and a lot of sacks, I don't know that his name is going to be like, oh yeah, let's regard Hassan Reddick in the same vein that we're going to regard a TJ Watt and any of those type guys, those outside linebacker type guys, because that's what he is. He's not a D end.
Right.
So I mean, he's going to get some money, but if he sits out and misses more and more time, he's a depreciating asset as a pass rusher. Like, it's in his best interest to get a deal done in New York at minimum for like this year, because what's he going to prove? No matter where he gets traded at this point, it'll be for almost no compensation, and you're probably playing on a 1-year deal anyways after all this has gone out.
But like he was good, but not great when he went to the Eagles, and the Eagles definitely made him look a lot better. Like he had a bit of a revitalization to his career when he went to the Eagles, and now you're taking a step back from that. Like he could have rode that wave forward, and I think that he's again fumbled the bag on this one. Not that the Jets did a good job either. Obviously, if you were trading for a player, you probably want to know ahead of time.
Resign him.
You got to know ahead of time that the player wants to be there, is willing to come for X amount of money, X, Y, Z. So the fact that that didn't happen, I mean, clearly a fuck up on both sides, but fun to watch. That being said, Jaden Daniels goes out there, gets his first game action. And how do you think that he looked?
Okay, so the duality of Jaden Daniels. First throw, screen pass. Should be easy. Throws it right over the fucking quarter, over the running back's head. You're like, okay, well, that's not great. That reminds me of young Josh Allen. And then he drops back, takes a fucking 3-step drop with a hitch, and zings a fucking beautiful ball downfield. Great catch by the receiver. Could not have placed the ball in a better spot. And that's what the Commanders are going to have to deal with. And that's what I expect that we're going to see a lot from Jaden Daniels. You're going to see some bad misses, and you're going to see some amazing highlight plays. And that's really the only thing you saw, because he didn't play very much. He only played the one series, only had 3 throws. One of them was amazing. One of them was really bad. That's the duality of Jaden Daniels. Once he figures it out, his athleticism and his arm talent could be really, really special.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is a guy where it's like I don't want to play Marcus Mariota over him. I feel like Jaden Daniels probably should be the starter there.
Agreed, because Mariota
you're gonna run into these lumps along the way, and that's part of quarterback development. Whereas again, the JJ McCarthy path, sit him and then let him be good later on, or hope that a guy, if you play him right away, can take the lumps and succeed with it. And hopefully that's the case with him. I do kind of like what they got going on there in Washington. And I think that he'll be more successful. Like, I would feel the same way if Drake May was in Washington. I'd feel a little bit better about him starting probably.
Well, the weapons in Washington are pretty good.
Yeah. You got Scary Terry, and you've got Austin Eckler. Like, you got some guys there. So not a bad day for Jaden Daniels. And I think Washington fans should be happy with their pick as of right now. Like, looks like he could turn out to be a solid quarterback. You're definitely happy, though, if you're a Bears fan. This next one, Bears, Bills. Caleb Williams goes out there and looks all the part of why he was the number 1 overall pick. Like, you saw the shovel pass to DeAndre Swift, which that play was DeAndre Swift's fault. He got too far away on that little screen. And so Caleb Williams made it work. Shovel pass, then you get 20+ yards on a little screenplay, and Caleb Williams looks all that much better. Like, he looked all the part of why he was
roll out to the right, the ball back across the body, right on target. I mean, he can do all of those things. My comp for him when we broke all this down was Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has that Aaron Rodgers level of talent, like, that can make every single one of those throws, can improvise, can do all of those things. But I also worry about the other part of Aaron Rodgers, where he can kind of annoy the fuck out of you with the person that he is and the people that maybe hang around him.
We always have the fear of that, of like, is this guy going to become a bit of a problem when things aren't going your way? That's what
he looked super good while he was out there, man. Listen, the number 4 for 7, fine, but you got to actually go look at what he did. It was really impressive. He has the potential to be otherworldly. If everything lines up, man, he could be special.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting note for me in this one with the Bears, though, they played a lot of Khalil Herbert. Despite having started stuff out there, played a lot of Khalil Herbert. I assumed that Swift was going to be the lead back there, and that Roshan Johnson was going to get a lot of play as well. And I like both of those guys better than Khalil Herbert. Khalil, to me, is still more of a receiving back, but Khalil Herbert got a lot of run in this game and didn't look fantastic doing it. So it'll be interesting to see what the actual workload and the ball share is going to be there in that backfield, especially from a fantasy perspective.
I think you'd have to go, what you're talking, at least 75% of the touches got to go to DeAndre Swift.
I would think so, but
and then you break up the other 25 between Roschon and Khalil Herbert, depending on what the situation is. Because DeAndre Swift is a good back, but he's not necessarily a big back. So you bring in Roschon, you can get a yard if you need it. Or if you want to, give him a blow and it's a third down, you can get Khalil out there, maybe catch a pass, a little dump down. But you'd have to imagine that DeAndre Swift is going to be the lead horse in that backfield. And there's no reason not to, because like you said, Khalil Herbert, for all the great things that he has done in the league, did not look great, especially running the ball between the tackles, but he's not that type of runner. Yeah. So I don't know that we're going to see that really improve too much.
Yep. And then on the flip side, the Bills, I didn't really like what I saw from them much anywhere.
Keon Coleman is a really cool guy, and I hope that things work out and he gets to be a really cool guy and people love him. But brother, he is not a route runner by any means. No. He had multiple chances.
I'm worried about the offense schematically, and I'm hoping that this was preseason ball with some of their play calls and things like that. Like Curtis Samuels, I think, could be one of the biggest acquisitions for them.
Yes.
Both as a runner and as a receiver, and they didn't use him appropriately at all in this game. And I'm hoping
I don't know if they want to show him too much.
Things out.
They got the one quick out just to get the ball in his hands immediately, a little tunnel screen type action. And he's electric with the ball in his hands. He's going to be big for that offense. But I kind of agree. We saw a lot of what we didn't see. Like James Cook lined up 7 yards deep, handoff. We didn't see hardly any play action. Obviously, this is still preseason, but what you're looking for is those individual moments. I think Josh will be fine. Josh will have his moments. But the offense doesn't look great. They don't have a ton of weapons that I like. Curtis Samuel is going to be good, but Keon Coleman is going to have to take a big step to really help this offense to be that big body guy, and he did not look the part so far.
Yeah, wasn't super enthused about what I saw, but again, like the whole Bills offense just did not look like it was clicking to me, and I'm wondering if they neutered the hell out of their playbook or something. I don't know.
Hope that's the reason. If you're a Bills fan,
yeah. Next up, Bucks Bills. I don't really have a whole lot of notes on this game. Nothing special. Joe Burrow went out there and played, looked good, coming back from the wrist surgery. With I believe one touchdown. And not a whole lot else to report from me.
Yeah, I didn't watch that game. They didn't have any of the rookies that I wanted to go and check out, so I did not watch. I'm surprised that Joe Burrow played, but
yeah,
glad he's coming back. And
me too.
I hope he's healthy all year, so that way when Cleveland kicks his ass, there's no excuses.
Alrighty,
that's what I want. I want a healthy Joe Burrow to come up to Cleveland and get his ass whipped again.
49ers and Titans out there. We got a Mayo commercial.
Hell yeah, dude.
Will Levis.
Okay, so we have talked about Will Levis at length and the Mayo thing and how he's just a weird fucking guy. That continues to be the trend, but he's also a funny guy who's willing to make himself the butt of the joke. So for that, Will Levis gets my ultimate respect for the ode de mayonnaise.
Yeah. Go check it out if you haven't. It's on the Lineman Lounge Facebook page. I'm just wondering, like, obviously he's got that Mayo connection. Is there some sort of an advertising deal that he can do for coming too quick? Also, the 49ers, we have Brandon Ayuk. The story, I think, is still going on. We're going to just whiz right by that, just like he whizzed right through that head. We see Joe Rockstar here. Surprised Ayuk is still a Niner. Now, I did a quick search here. I didn't see any other news on Ayuk. He's resigned.
I did not. He
got a new deal with the Niners.
Dude, he scared the shit out of me. I thought there was a deal done somewhere, and then Ayuk could resign. That has not happened yet.
Well, there is a deal done with the Steelers.
Yeah, but
it's in place, being reported by Schefter and Rappaport and everyone. And basically that an offer has been put from the 49ers out to Ayuk, and it's kind of like, hey, take it or leave it. Otherwise, we're shipping you off. So look, this has gone back and forth a couple times. It went from, hey, like multiple teams are in on it, including your Browns, and kind of an interesting. I don't know if you want to comment on the Amari Cooper saying that
I do not
cool
blame
with going there.
I do not blame Amari Cooper for being pissed off that he's being included in these trade talks after he came back and has said very loudly that he wants to be a Brown and wants to continue to be a Brown. We don't get that all the time as Browns fans. So when we get that, we should respect that. I was not in favor of getting rid of Amari Cooper for Brandon Ayuk. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that now.
If you're Amari Cooper and you're like, hey, I can go to one of the best teams in the NFC, like, yeah, that is okay. I mean, like, I'm happy to be here, but also that's a good situation.
I got no problem with what Amari said. I'd say the same shit if I'm in his position. You want to trade me? Fine. At least you're sending me to the fucking Niners. I'll go try to win a Super Bowl.
But, we go through that, and then all of a sudden, hey, talks have reopened between Ayuk and the 49ers, and then I'm like, all right, Joe might be right. Maybe they're going to get something worked out. And now we have reports again today saying, like, hey, it sounds like it's kind of coming to a head. They've got shit in place with the Steelers. Who, by the way, I think the Steelers receiving core actually looked pretty damn good. Pickens looked good out there during that game. That's something that we didn't talk about. You've got your rookie from Michigan who is hurt and not out there. But the rest of the team, other than Kurt, who is the receiver? Calvin Austin, the third or whatever, who dropped that fucking clear touchdown. Like, yes, a little overthrown, but also hit him in the hands. Should have had that touchdown. Like, that receiving core looks like it's going to be pretty fucking solid. And you go out, and if you were to get an Ayuk, like, it's going to be good for whoever's slinging the ball back there. It's I think we are going to see something here within the next week with Ayuk. Like, it is the culminating point of
just get out the pot time. Either fucking sign or get traded.
Well, especially when there was more money in a deal offered and ready to be accepted from the Patriots that Ayuk said no to, allegedly. What 30, 30
I don't blame him for not wanting to go up to fucking New England.
Yeah, the money's good, but it's not that good. So, Joe, you have a little bit more time with your receiver. Maybe you have a lot more time with your receiver. We're going to see here, I think, pretty soon. But yes, like Joe said, he is still a Niner. Put the ball in his court. We'll see what happens. Either way, I don't really have a ton there to report on that game either.
No, me neither, man. I don't have much on that one. I don't have much on the Chiefs-Jags either. Game that I did watch a lot of was Broncos-Colts, though. The Broncos look exactly the same as they did before, with somebody who is slightly more efficient because they're more agile. So Russell Wilson was running this offense, and they were running it the same way. If they were worried about they were going to take the kid gloves off for Bo Nix, they didn't do that. Bo Nix threw a fuckload of checkdowns or things close to the line of scrimmage, which I was kind of expecting to see. Now, don't get me wrong. He did take a couple of shots, but 15 to 21 for 125 yards kind of tells you that they were playing it pretty close to the chest. Bo looked like he could slide around a little bit, move around a little bit, but I don't know that this is markedly different than the offense that we saw with Russell Wilson, except for Bo Nix is a little more agile at this point. Sean Payton offense was never predicated on a quarterback being agile. So I don't know what the difference is here, but Bo Nix did not look bad. If you want to see a high-flying offense, don't watch the Broncos, though. Javonte Williams is going to slam it up the middle for fucking 3 yards, and then they're going to throw hooks and a couple of drags. That's what that offense is all going to do until they're much more comfortable. Did you get to watch Bo Nix?
Yeah, I when I saw from Bo Nix is exactly what I expected from Bo Nix. Mediocre quarterback play, exactly what Sean Payton's looking for. Just check down, easy, like there's nothing special. Like, I don't want to say that Nix had a bad day. He had a Nix day. Like, it is literally exactly what you expected when you saw the reports coming out from him from the draft. It's like he's going to run a Sean Payton offense how Sean Payton wants it run. Sean Payton didn't like Russ Wilson. That's basically the reason why that quarterback situation didn't work out. But yeah, is it markedly different? No. Like, if anything, I think Bo Nix is just safer. Like, he's safe with the ball. Yeah, a little bit more mobile, I suppose. But like, it is like you're getting a 24, about to be 25-year-old quarterback who is what he was in college, which is not going to lose you a game, but not going to win you a game necessarily. Like, he's going to go out there and he's going to run an offense, which means that you aren't getting any sort of elevated play from the quarterback, like elevating the other plays around him necessarily. Like, the quarterback is literally going out there, happens to be running the ship, and you have to hope that guys like Cortland Sutton can do something, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're a Broncos fan, I guess you should be happy because you have your starter. He's better than Stidham. And
He is
he's
better
going to
than
start over Stidham. He's absolutely better than Zach Wilson. So, like,
I don't think the Zach Wilson conversation will be coming to an end at some point in the near future. I'm sure of it. But
you got your quarterback, so you're good to go there for at least 3 years, I'd say.
Yeah, for a little while. I mean, until they get bored of running the same dink and dunk offense, and they don't have enough athletes to win on the edges to, break big runs. So it'll be interesting. But I also wanted to ask you, we didn't have to get to see a lot of Anthony Richardson last year. What did you think of the Anthony Richardson that you did see? I know Torres was hitting me up afterward. I was in Jersey at the time. He's like, hey, all right, tell me what you got. For me, Anthony Richardson looked like he needed to play a lot more fucking football.
It feels like you lost your rookie year and didn't get a whole lot of development in between.
Yep.
That's like, he's coming in and it feels like he's a rookie again.
100%. So, that's what I told Torres as well. I was like, brother, this is going to be like his rookie year. Just expect it to be like his rookie year.
Yeah, there's going to be excitement, and then there's going to be some uh-ohs for sure. And if he doesn't know how to protect himself, he's going to get injured again. So, like, it feels like we are back at square one, exactly where we were last year with Richardson.
Agreed. Sam Ehlinger, though, fucking slung around a little bit.
Yeah.
Sam Ehlinger will stay there. Joe Flacco will almost certainly be the backup, just so he could be in Anthony Richardson's ear. Stidham will probably go to the practice squad as the emergency third, because now emergency thirds, you don't have to have them on the roster. They could just be on the practice squad, which is a nice change for teams to keep that extra guy. In the past, it was last year even, that emergency third quarterback would count against a roster spot, could not be pulled off the practice squad. So, yeah, but that's what I got, man. Any other rookie quarterbacks that we missed in here?
Did you watch any of Spencer Rattler?
I did not get to any Spencer Rattler, no.
So again, like a guy that was drafted later to me, who I think that the Saints are bad enough that he will be starting by the end of the year, because the difference between him and a Derek Carr isn't going to be insurmountable for him to be competitive, but he brings just a little bit of something different than Derek Carr, and that might spark the team enough where it's like the difference at the end of the day, I don't think is going to be great enough for them to keep him on the bench instead and play Carr when the team is probably not going to be that great. I think Spencer Rattler will be starting by the end of the year for this team, whether it's because of Derek Carr injury or just because they're middling and they're going to see what happens. He didn't look great, didn't look terrible. He was able to lead them on a game-winning drive, which that's the thing is I think Spencer Rattler has less physical talent, less overall talent, but he has a little bit more of the it factor.
A little bit of that moxie.
Yeah. Which can carry you a long ways. I mean, you see Gardner Minshew, he's got a little bit of something. Like, he maybe not be an everyday starter in the league, but he's got a little bit of something that makes you want to play the guy. I get the same sort of feeling for Spencer Rattler. So that's where I think that's going to be going with the Saints team is, again, middling to bad team, and that we'll be seeing some Spencer by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, they're still working on getting out of salary cap hell, though. They still got a couple of years probably before they are competitive again.
Yeah. Not a ton else story wise here. I mean, Seahawks. I don't know. Did you see how their new rookie defensive tackle looked out there?
I did not.
Oh, fucking dog, dude. Like you hate to throw around the Aaron Donald type moniker. They were triple teaming his ass, and he was still getting his
Really?
out there. Yeah.
What's the kid's name again?
Texas. Byron Murphy II.
Oh,
Byron Murphy. Yeah, looked real good.
yeah.
He's gonna be starting real quick out there. And Chargers not so good. Not so good.
I hope the Chargers suck. Fucking Harbaugh's a cheating asshole.
Who is not the honorary captain anymore.
Imagine that.
Yeah. You know, he says that he wants to stay in his foxhole and continue grinding for the team because they look
I'm
so
sure he fucking does.
You know, take that for what you will. He ain't running. Yeah. We do have some other injury news and things like that. You've got the Chiefs. Hollywood Brown goes down with a shoulder injury. It looks like he could be out here a couple weeks. I think week 2 to 3 roughly is when they're expecting to be back. Something similar to what Tyreek Hill went through before. And then we're also still waiting on CeeDee Lamb with the Cowboys and some Jerry Jones comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the injury in Kansas City maybe brings a fortuitous opportunity for the Chiefs and CeeDee Lamb, who got rid of all of his markings of the Cowboys on his Instagram, his social media, and has pictures of his buddy who played with in college, Marquise Brown, up there, who now plays for the Chiefs. I'm sure CD would not mind a trade to the Chiefs. I don't know what the fuck they'd have to give up or how they would pay him.
Yeah, that's the thing is they would love to make that happen. Like the Chiefs would love it, Mahomes would love it, CD would love it. Everyone would love it except for the Cowboys. Cowboys, the amount of shit that they would need to get in return, multiple first round picks, and then some probably. I don't see Jerry doing it. Like it's really tough to see a world where that happens. But they do have to figure something out here pretty soon and not let Jerry get behind the mic when talking about CD because you know
he's fucking it up.
That didn't work out well. Like they tried to walk it back. He tried to bring it back a little bit with the game. It didn't really work, in my opinion. It still sounded pretty bad. So we'll see what goes on there. I guess the one thing I know, the Chiefs got Xavier Worthy out there.
Yeah,
he's fast. They're running him on deep routes. If they have some other competent receivers on the team, then that'll be a good pick. I don't know that I would have used first overall pick on a decoy because as of right now, that's kind of what he looks like. He is pulling a lot of defenders because of that speed and opening stuff up down in the middle of the field for other receivers like Rashee Rice, which it's absolutely where Hollywood Brown could have ate a little bit more. It's just Xavier Worthy. I'm not as huge on him, even as a deep ball receiver. Like he's got the speed. We'll see if he can catch it. If he can be Deshaun Jackson 2.0, or because I ain't going anywhere near Tyreek. He does not have the ability Tyreek does. He has the speed, but not the agility. But that could definitely be a boon for that offense if they get guys that can make those catches over the middle. But as of right now, it looks like he's obviously a really good decoy, and that could be good things for that offense.
Yeah, he didn't even end up with a target, did he?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's one way to use your first round pick, boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Developmental tackles.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, brother. Well, gosh, we got anything else to go over here?
No, man. I mean, a lot of football, and this is a lot of obviously speculation and stuff like that. It is week 1 of the preseason, now going into week 2. So, take everything with a grain of salt. But we did see a lot of teams go out there and play starters more than we've seen before. I think that goes a lot to teams are starting to figure out, hey, this is a 3-week preseason. And to avoid the hangover slump that typically happens when you don't play your starters at the beginning of the year, maybe we need to give them some time. I think most teams did a good job of playing their starters some, but not a ton to the point that they get injured. So, well, not everyone.
Yeah, I fucking know what we're doing.
Yeah. But it was interesting. We'll see if things kind of calm down a little bit this week and goes to more of the backup rules or not. But we got a fun one between your Brownies and my Vikings coming up.
Hell yeah, man. The joint practices going this week, game on Saturday. We will be at the Irreverent Warrior March this Saturday, August 17th. So if you are a veteran, go check that out. Man, I'm very excited for that event. It's going to be a great, great time. Organization that I'm proud that we were trying to work in with here at the No Sleeves Network. But yeah, man, with that, you want to get out of here?
Let's do it, brother.
All right, guys. This is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. That is Evo. You can catch us on all the social medias, Facebook group at Lineman Lounge, TikTok, Instagram. We are everywhere. If you want to listen to our show, go to any podcast platform. You can catch our shows there. If you want to watch and subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate it. Head on over to the YouTube. We're going to continue to try to grow as big as possible, but our first goal is going to be to get to that 1,000 subscribers that we need over on the YouTube channel. So if you can drop us a subscribe, we'd greatly appreciate that. But the most important thing you give us is your time. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. Anytime you spend it with us, we cannot thank you enough. Evo, give the people one last word.
Jordan Childs, we know.
We do know. I'm Mike. That's Evo. We are getting the fuck out of here. See ya.